Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is quick demo of Angular 13 to-do application. Alright, so here you can see we have some to-do list here on this column. So we have one more column called as in progress and the third column is done. Okay, so on the left hand side you can see there is a task name which is an input. So what we can do here is in this application that we can add any task name and that task will get reflected in the to-do list. So let's try to add one. So I'll add a task, maybe go to gym, and if I click on this add button, so I can see this has been added in the list, and you can see the number is also changed to 7. Like we have total 7 item in the to-do list. All right, so now let's take an example that I want to start some task. Okay, so what I'll do, I want to create a blog application. So there is a step that I want to learn Angular, then I want to learn Node.js, and then I'll create a blog application. So okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go here and click on this learn Node.js and drag to the in progress, so that my this task is already in progress, and I can also start to learn Angular, and then maybe I can also add this create blog application. So as you can see that I can easily drag and drop from to-do list to the in progress. Okay, but you can see that this like position is not correct. Like I want to start first with Angular, then Node.js, and then maybe I'll create a application. So I can also change the position by clicking on this and dragging it to the top. In the same way I can do for the Node.js, and now this looks good that I'll learn Angular, then Node.js, and then I'll create a blog application. Okay, now you can see that if I have completed my this task, which is in progress right now, and this you can see the number is also 3 in progress section. So I can just drag this to done section that I have completed this task, and you can see this list is also updated to 1, that one item is done, and we have this check mark as well that this is done. In the same way we can do for the Node.js as well, and the create blog application as well. All right, so here you can see that one more thing, we have a update. So you can see this spelling is incorrect. If I want to update this spelling, I can just click on this pencil button which is for update. You can see this is getting sticked here. Now we can correct the spelling and we can click on update, and you can see the name is also updated. All right, so one thing you can see here is that update is only working whenever the item is in to-do list. All right, for example, if I want to update this learn Angular, so I'll have to drag it to the to-do list, and then I have to update this name or learn Angular fast, maybe just a random text, and now I can put it in the done section now. Okay, so this is it what we are going to create in this particular tutorial. All right, so without any further ado, let's jump into the video. So first of all, we will create a folder in our project directory maybe. So we can do that, or we can just directly go inside our folder and we can create our Angular application. So just open CMD in the current directory. Okay, and you just need to like hit few commands for creating new Angular application. Okay, so the command for creating new Angular application is ng new and the application name, which is Angular to do. Okay, so this is how we can create a new application. All right, so hit enter there. So it will ask few questions for routing and CSS. So let's select that once it comes. So you can see it asks a question like you need to add routing, so I would say yes, and it asks for CSS format, so I'll select SCSS. Okay, and now it will create our new Angular application. So let's just wait for it. As you can see, our application is installed. Okay, so we need to go inside the directory of it. So for that we have to press cd space and the application name and hit enter. So once you hit enter, so you are inside your application, and for opening this application in the VS Code, you can just press this command code space V to open this. Okay, and you can do it manually as well, so there is no such issue. So I have already opened the application in VS Code. Okay, so here you can see my application is already running your Angular to-do list. All right, so what we need to do first is we need to that I will be using Bootstrap plus Angular material, so we have to install those inside our application. So for Bootstrap, what you can do is just go on this website getbootstrap.com. Here you can see we have this on the home page. If you go, you will see get started. If you press here, we have to just copy this CSS path. Okay, just copy this CSS and go inside this index.html. Okay, you can find it here. So inside the index.html, you just have to add these lines below this link. Okay, you can remove this if you want. We don't need this. All right, and we can save this application. All right, so once this is done, so what is the second thing we will do is we will try to add Angular material inside your project. So for that, how we can do is we just have to go here on this website material.angular.io. We can click on get started button and we can see we have a command ng add angular/material. Just copy this command, okay, and go here inside your terminal. You can paste this and hit enter. Okay, so once you press enter, it will ask for a few questions that it will be installed and what styling you want to use. So just choose it and we are good to go. So I'm still waiting for that question to pop up. So let's just wait for 10 seconds maybe. Yep. So it is determining the packages. So it asks for would you like to install it? I would say yes. Hit enter. So the second question it is asking is for choosing the pre-built CSS. So I'll go with this Indigo ping. So as you can see, our Angular material is installed here. Like, it asks few questions about the CSS, then it asks about typography, then Angular material, browser animation. So you just have to say yes, yes, yes for all those questions, and it will update few of the files. Okay, so you can see it if you want to. All right. So this was it that we have successfully installed Angular material and Bootstrap inside your project. Okay, but if suppose you don't have that much time and you don't have to follow all this step, what best you can do is you can directly go on my GitHub or this we have this material bootstrap startup. I will just paste this link in the description. You can directly go ahead here and download this project and you can start to code. You don't have to follow all these steps whatever I did. So it all depends on your comfort that you want to go with this or you want to follow those two steps. All right, so once that has been installed and everything is configured, so what we will do is we will try to create our first component. Okay, so the first thing we have to design is the navbar. Okay, the nav bar of our application. Let me show here. So what we'll target this nav bar first and then maybe this left hand side and then this center part. Okay, so let's go one by one. So here inside this app I will create a component. So for creating a component, so we have a command ng g for generate, c for component, and the component name is navbar. Okay, so the navbar will be generated now. As you can see, the navbar has been created and it has updated the app module as well because this is our component. All right, so we will first go ahead and design this navbar component, or better we can add one more component called as our to-do list. Okay, if we need to add it we can do, but if not we can directly write the code inside this. So we will prefer that we will add one more and maybe we can use it. So the second component we'll create is to do. Okay, so this is going to be second component where we will be adding all our logics for that left hand side and that center part inside this component. All right, so this has also been created now, and let's see if our module is updated or not. So yeah, you can see these two components are added in the module as well. All right, so let's first target our navbar. All right, so let's go in the navbar.html. Let's remove this, and the first thing we will try to do is add the mat toolbar. Okay, so for using the toolbar, so let's go on the website angular.material.io. Okay, this one. So in the components you can see we have a toolbar. Okay, so if you scroll down, we have a toolbar. We can use this toolbar by importing this particular API. All right, this we have to import this, and let's go inside your app module and just paste below this. Okay, mat toolbar module, and that we have to import here inside this imports array. So below this I'll say mat toolbar module. Okay, now we can use the toolbar module inside your application. So if you want to see it, you can just copy some references from the example like how your mat should look like. So we can copy this basic one, which is this first one. Okay, we can, but yeah, it all depends on our requirement. So I better go ahead and write the code for it, like how it should look and all that look and feel we can change it by our own. So better, because I will not be using this color, so I will have my own custom color. So I will go ahead and add my own. Okay, so for adding the matte toolbar, we can just say matte toolbar. Again, you can copy and paste, right? It is all depends on you, like how you want to proceed. So it has an h1 tag which says Angular 13 to do list, to do application. All right, app. Let's make it very simple, and we can also add here some custom styling. So I will style it accordingly. So I'll need to have a background color. Okay, so I have a custom background set already, so you can use any color which you want to. So it all depends on you. So I have my own custom created already, so I'll be using that, this blue color. Okay, let's save this and let's see how it looks. So for using this navbar, so we have to use copy this selector, and this selector has to be pasted inside your app component.html. So this is what the by default Angular gives. So let me remove all these things and let me just have that app navbar. So once you copy the selector here, okay, now we have to run the application to see the changes. Okay, so I'll say ng serve, and I will run this on some different port 4100. Okay, so this is how we can run our application on different port. Okay, hit enter and let's wait for it to get compiled. All right, so our application is successfully compiled and it is running on localhost 4100. So let's open this application side by side. Okay, so I'll open it here. So this is our already created one, so we will try to replicate to this same one. So you can see this color is like white, so we will try to change this. So let's go inside your CSS, or not, maybe in the HTML. So here you can directly change the color. Okay, we can change the color as white. So for white we use FFF. Let's save this and let's check how it looks. As you can see, it is ready, Angular 13 to do app. Okay, so our header is ready now. Now we will try to focus on the left hand side, okay, of this one. So for that, what we will do is first we will try to set the routing, okay, for this to do application. So we'll go inside this app routing.module, and inside this routes we will be adding our first one, which is path. If our path is blank, so I want to load a component which is our to do list component, maybe this one, the to do component. Okay, so this will load this particular component. If I save this and let's check on the browser. All right, so we have to add some styling for it because it is showing on the top of that. So for that, okay, so because the routing is not enabled, maybe that is the reason. Yes, that was correct. So we have to add the router outlet for it to display that, this one, because the message should has been displayed about this to do works. Okay, so let's see if it is working. So yeah, you can see this to do works is visible now. All right, so now let's try to style this one, not style, but maybe let's try to add all those script which is required. So first we will create a container. Okay, so this is the bootstrap class container fluid. Inside that I will have my row. Okay, and inside the row I will divide this like section into two part. So one part is for this one and the another part is for this one. Okay, so for that I will be using the colmd3. So I will divide this into 3 is to, maybe total is 12, so we can divide in 3 and the other part is into 9. So I'll say div dot colmd3. Okay, and the second part will be div dot colmd9. Okay, so this section will have this one, this part, task name and stuff, and the 9 will have this part. Okay, so let's see how we can add few things there. Okay, so for that let me first try to add a dev, and inside that I will add a mat card, because there is a card module which I have been added. So for using a card, so we can just go here and we can just search here for card in the material. So for using a card we have to import this. Okay, let's import this, and go inside your app module, paste this, and in the imports we have to add that as well, mat card module. Okay, so now we can use the cards. So go here and just add the code for it. So I'll take div first, and inside the div I will have a mat card. Okay, so our card is added. Okay, so inside the card we have a form, right? So we will create a form for it. I don't need this action. Okay, so inside the form we have to use a mat form field. Okay, so what a form field called? So this is the form, right? Material form. So we have to use mat form. So for that, let's go in the form field and just check which one is suitable for us. Okay, so we will see that. Let's go in the example. So yeah, we will be using this one, this fourth option. Okay, so I'll just copy this fourth one and I'll paste inside this form. Okay, I know this will display a few errors, and the reason is because we have to import as well, right? So you can see we have the API here, we have to import it to remove all those error. So I have copied that, and let's go in the module to import. Okay, so let's hit enter and have this form field module as well. Okay, add form field module. So this has also been added, and you can see the error just gone. Okay, so now we can use it. If I save this and let's see how changes looks. Okay, so we have a placeholder here and we have a card as well. Okay, so now we will try to style it a bit. So that's the reason I had this div on the top. So I'll just say style this, and I will have a background. Okay, I'll need to have a background as a gray, like a dark gray one, maybe a blackish gray. So for that, 303030. So this is the color which helps us to achieve it, and we'll have a height of 93 viewport view height, and yep, that's it. Maybe let's save this and let's check. Okay, so now this is okay. This doesn't looks good, so we have to style a bit. So let me better copy this inside this div only, so that we don't require that extra div. Okay, and for mat card we can add a class. We need some margin on the top. Okay, all right, so now this looks good that we have a sidebar for this, and now we have this placeholder as well. So you can see this is not visible just like this what we have here. So the reason being is because we have to import the input module, I guess. I'm not sure. So let's go here in the material and check what is the exact name. So yeah, you can see we have this input. So we have to import this also, mat input module. So just copy this mat input module. Okay, okay, so it was a mistake, so sorry. So I'll copy this one and I'll go inside this app module.ts, and again I will import this on the top, and I have to mention this in this array as well, imports array. Okay, the name is mat input module. Okay, let's see what. Okay, let's save this, and the compile is success. All right, so let's wait for it to get compiled. Yeah, it is success, and now we can see. Okay, so now we can see we have this thing. Now you can see this is actually showing something very bad, which is sent. Okay, so the text it is showing. So let's try to fix that. Okay, so why it is not showing us the icon? Because we haven't imported the icon module. Okay, so this is the mat icon. So we can go here and just search for icons here. Okay, so to use the mat icon, we have to again import this module, which is mat icon module. All right, so let's go again in the app module and add this. See, I'm going very step by step so that you can understand each and every step, why I'm adding this, what is the reason behind adding that module and all that. Okay, so that you can also learn, okay, how to fix these things if we face the same error. All right, so again let's save this and let's see the changes on the browser, if it is same or not. Now it looks similar to it what we have already, but if you see one thing is still, like I change it to 100% again, and let me again change this to 100 as well. You can see this form is quite bigger as compared to this one. Okay, so we need a 100% width for this. So for that, what we can do is we just have to tweak the CSS. Okay, we have to change the CSS of mat form field. So this is a mat form field, we have to change this CSS. So for that, what I will do, I'll go inside the CSS of TODO component, and inside that I will just use host, and I'll say dot mat form field. Okay, so this is the class of that, mat form field, and what I want to do is I want to have a width of 100%. If I save this and let's see if the changes is applied. Yes, now we can see it is taking the 100% width for this form. Okay, so let's change some, like, see, let's make it identical to this, that we need to have a task name as a placeholder, and we can have a hint as add a task name, and also this button as well. Okay, so for adding the button, okay, let's start with the button first, because button is also we are using an Angular material button. So for that we have to go in this same website again, and we can search for button here. Okay, so for using the button we have to copy this imports and go inside our app module and paste it here the way I did for others. Okay, the same way I'll add it in the array as well. So mat button module, and now I can use the button. Okay, so let's go inside your todo component.html. Okay, and we can just directly go ahead and add the button. Okay, so we can see we have a hint here. Okay, so let's try to change it one by one. So first it should be a task name, and we can put a hint as add task name. Okay, so below the form field I can add the buttons as well. So for adding the button, so we will just say button, and it is a mat raised button, so we can add mat raised button. All right, and we can give a color to it. We can just say color as primary. All right, and so this is not done because it looks as a pencil form, right? It was like a pencil. So for that we need to use a mat icon. Okay, oh no, for adding I think we just can have a text like this. I'm so sorry, we can have just text like this. Let's save it and see how it looks. This is for adding purpose. I'm so sorry, I thought it is for update one. So if I go here in the application, yeah, I can see the add is visible now. Okay, we can add a task name, and we can just click on add to add the task. All right, but you can see this is in center, so we will try to make that in center. Okay, or like going forward, once we see, try to first add some functionality and then maybe we can do it. All right, so now what we have to do is, now we can see we have a form. Okay, so for form we have to create a form as well in the component. So let's try to create a form in the component. So what is the first step? I have already like shown these things in my previous video. If you don't know how to create form in Angular, so you can just go here on my YouTube channel and you can just find how to create forms and all that. You can see we have a login and sign up form, validations in Angular and all that. So I will highly recommend you guys to go ahead and watch these videos, like to getting know more about Angular reactive forms. All right. So again, let's go here and let's try to add the form. So for adding the form, we need three things. First one is form builder, form group, and validators. Okay, so first we will try to import. All right, so let's import three things, whatever I have mentioned. From where we have to import it, it is coming from Angular. Okay, Angular slash forms. So what was the first thing? It was form group. The second is form builder, and we will also add validation. So for that we need a validators. Okay, so these three things has been added. So the first thing we need is that our form name. Okay, so for giving the form we can just give a name as to do form. You can say to do form type form group. Okay, so one person has asked me about this, why to add exclamation for this, because this exclamation is because it is a strict checking of Angular. Okay, that it tells that this is not been initialized, and whenever we put this exclamation, it tells that this value will be defined in future, like in future means in constructor or maybe in ng on init. So if you really want to just know more, you can just, so I will be creating a video soon about strict what we say, a strict checking of TypeScript. So this comes under that. Okay, so this is because of TypeScript, not because of Angular. Okay, so now this form is ready. Now for the form, what I'll do is, so we need a form builder. So we'll say private fp as form builder, and we will try to initialize the form by to do form, which is equals to this dot. what was the fb dot group. We have to group the form. Okay, so it we were having only one single item, so we can just group that single thing by just saying item. Okay, and let's try to add the validation as well, that it has a required validation. So we can say validators dot required. Okay, so in this way our form is ready. We can just copy this form name and we can have to add here as well. We have a form here, so we will add a form group. Okay, so the form group we have to paste the name. Okay, let's remove this form group and let's give the name as to do form. Okay, so this is our form group which has this name, to do form. Okay, now you can see this throws an error because we have not imported. First thing is our, the main important thing, the reactive form, because we are using reactive forms. So for that we have to import reactive forms module. Okay, and you can see this is auto imported on the top as well from angular slash form. So always whenever you're using forms, we have to import this inside your app.module.ts file. All right, now if you go here, so that error is gone. So this is our form. Okay, and we can see we have a form control name which is items. So let's try to give the name as well for this input, called as form control name, and let's give a name as item. Okay, it should be inside this. I'm so sorry. So yeah, so this is how our form looks. So our form is ready. Okay, so now all we have to do is we have to create a list. Okay, so you can see we have three lists there. We have let's me just open this application to explain you better. So we have three lists here: to do list, in progress list, and done list. Okay, so we will be creating three lists, okay, in the UI as well, sorry, in the component. So let's go in the component and let's try to add our first list. So the first thing will be our task. Okay, and we can give a type to it. All right, because this is going to be a list. And again, in the same way, we will add in progress list. Better you can copy and paste if you want. I'm just typing it. And the last one will be the done. All right, so this is done. So we have three lists now: task, in progress, and done. All right, so why I have added this, you will come to know very soon. So let me just save this for now, and let me just try to complete the UI part, and then maybe we will jump to this part. All right, okay, so let's come here in the HTML. And okay, one more thing, let's do it. We can disable this. So we can disable this. Okay, so for disabling it, we can, it's very easy, that we just have to see that our form is invalid or not. So we said to do. So this is the form, so we can copy this form. If it is invalid, okay, if the form is invalid, so this will be disabled. Okay, all right, so let's try to come and design the second part, which is the three section which we have. All right, so for doing that, we need to have a drag and drop module. Okay, so this is a drag and drop thing. So for the drag and drop, what I have used is, if you go here in the Angular material, okay, in the CDK part, we have a drag and drop. Maybe here, this one. Okay, so for using drag and drop, we have to import this API called, like, this is comes under this API. We have to import this, import drag and drop module. So copy this and go inside your app module.ts. Okay, and this has to be added in array as well. This imports array drag and drop module. Okay, let's save this. Now we can easily use that drag and drop thing. So let's go again on this and let's click on examples. You can see our task looks something like this only. We can dragging and dropping it, again going on the top. So we can just see here how they have actually did it, and we can make use of this inside your application as well. All right, so here we can see we have to use this one. So I'll just copy this and I'll go inside our application and I'll paste it in the next section, which is our cool MD6. So now all the thing will turn inside this cool MD9, sorry, 9 part. Okay, So it is asking for all those lists and stuff. Okay, so the first thing we will try to check, okay, so how we can design this stuff. So we can just go here and try to divide this into some different groups, okay, because it was having three groups. If I just go here in this application, so it is divided into three part. So the colmd9 is divided into next three part. Okay, so for that I will have to use a little bit of Bootstrap. Okay, so I'll just go here and minimize this and this. Okay, so this is what our group was. So let me just say Control Z for the first. Let me try to divide it into two part. All right, so for that what I will do is, maybe I'll just go step by step. So it is this div. Let's take a div, and we are using CDK drop list group. So we can just say CDK. So you can see we will get this option, CDK drop list group. All right, so inside this group we will add Bootstrap class called as div.row, and this will be divided into four, like three parts. So I'll say div.colmd 4. So I will be dividing this into 4. So we'll come to know why I did this very soon. So, yep, so now you can see this will be for uh, to do. No, this is not how we comment here, I'm so sorry. So we can comment this by KC. So this is for to do part, this is for in progress. Okay, and this will be for your done section. So we will code this now for to do, and let's go. This is the reason that I always go step by step, so that there should not a single doubt. Okay, so you can just say thank you to me in the comment, not by asking questions. Okay, so let's see how we can try to complete this one as well. Okay, so for that, now what we will do is, now we will divided this into different part. Now we have to use the container. Okay, so let's go here on the drag and drop this thing. Okay, so now we have a group already on the top. Okay, so now we have to copy one single section. Okay, we can copy this section and we can paste it in the to-do list. All right, now this is asking for a data, like we need a CDK list of data. So for giving it this a data, so first thing was the task. We have already created that. So this task is coming from this. So this actually expects a list. So this is the task which we are provided here to this. Okay, now it tells that you need to have a drop method and you need to have this to do. So this will also replaced by this one. So I'll copy this and paste it here. Okay, so now let's create this drop event as well. So for that we can just copy it from here in the TS file and we can paste. All right, so I think this is it. All right, so let's go here and we can paste it below here. Okay, so we have to actually import all these things from CDK drag and drop. We will import this as well and this as well. If you go on the top, you can see this has been imported from here. All right, so if this doesn't works for you, so you can directly go here and import manually from angular slash cdk slash drag and drop. All right, so now this event is also ready for us. So we haven't coded anything, so this is what angular material provides. All right, so now I can see that I have used everywhere any, so better we can create a model. Okay, so for creating a model we can just create a folder first, maybe not in this to-do list, but yeah, outside this. So we will create a folder model, and inside the model we will add a interface. Okay, so the interface name will be task, or maybe I can say iTask because it's an interface. iTask.ts. Okay, this is not the good naming convention. I can say tasks.ts and we can give the name to it by iTask. So we can just say export interface. All right, so we have to export this interface. I'll say export interface and we can give the interface name as iTask. So this has two things. It has a description of type string. Okay, and the second thing it will have is done of type boolean, that if my task is done or not. If it is done section, then it will be true. Okay, so this is how our I task looks like, and now we will be using this. Now this is our type ready, so this will use all over here. So wherever we have any, so now this will be replaced by I task. Okay, now you can see this is imported as well on the top, auto imported. Again, this will also, I'll change this I task, and this will also be changed to I task. Okay, now it throws some error, so let's see how to tackle that. Okay, so this is actually telling for the event. So let's try to fix this also, because in the drag and drop list, it will not be a list of string, it will be a list of I task. Okay, so that error is gone. So this is what we have changed all those. So we have defined the type. How, what is the type of our array? So it is of type this I task. Okay, so this part is also done. All right, so now what we have to do is, so let's try to save this first, and then maybe we can see what all changes is required at our point of time. So let's try to save and check. Okay, so it's compiled successful, and okay, now we can see we have a to do, okay, on the top. So now let's try to style that. Okay, so I can see we haven't imported any styling. So what we will do, go here in the Angular material. Okay, from the CSS part you can copy all the CSS, and you can paste it here below this. Okay, let's save this. Now if you go here, we can see a section ready. Okay, where we can drag and drop our items. All right, all right. Okay, then let's try to style a bit. Okay, so we have this drag and drop ready. So what else we require? So we require two more section. Okay, so the first section is done, which is to do list. So another section will be for your what we say in progress, and the another will be for done. So let's paste it below, and in the same way for done as well. If I save this and if I change this all, so this is done, and maybe I should use caps. Yep, and this one as in progress. Okay, and this was our to do. Let's save and check all the changes. So we have three section ready: to do, in progress, and done. Okay, so now let's try to add some of the validation things and stuff, so that we can add, we can, because our things are almost ready, we just have to add few data here and there. Okay, but before that, for the to-do list we have copy pasted, so we have to change few things. So now this CDK drop this list, so this is in progress, right? So for that we will be using this name, in progress list. So I'll copy this and paste here. Where is that? Yeah, in progress, and also in the CDK drop list data. Paste this. All right, and scroll down. For done also we will be using the done, and this will also be done. Okay, so one thing, you know, right, we were having description. Okay, so we will be using the description part. This item will be used by that. All right, so for that we will be using the description. So because while adding it, we will try to add in term of a description, that item will be of type description. I know this can confuse a bit, so let's try to first add it, and then the confusion will be clear. Okay, so let's go here, and we will try to add our first item. So for that, the logic is very simple. Okay, so we have an array and we have to push a data inside it. So let's try to create a method, add task. Okay, so for adding a task, so we have this task list. So we can say this dot task dot push. Okay, so we will push a data inside it. So we will push an object basically. Inside that it will have a description, and second thing it will have, oh, maybe better what we can do, this was a description, and the second thing was done. Done was false. Okay, like before, whenever we are adding any data to it, like it will be first blank, right? We don't have to put anything there. So first thing it will be blank. But for adding the description, we are taking this from form, right? So we'll say this dot to do form dot value dot, what is the form control name? It is item. So copy this item and value dot item we have to put. Okay, so in this way we have added a task. All right, as you can see, this is of type I task and it has a description. So whenever we have to display the array, okay, so we don't need just item because item is a group, right? It has group and done. So we will be just saying item dot description. Okay, in the same way we have to display this as well, item dot description. Same for the done also, dot description. All right, so let's save all the changes and we will try to add one item and then we'll see how it works. All right, so for adding the item we have an add button on the top, but I don't think so it has a method called. So this is the add button, so we will have a click event and we'll say add task and we will save it. Okay, so there is some error, maybe no, there is not. So save successful and let's go here and try to add a task. I'll say new task, and if I click on this add, I can see a new task has been added. Okay, and we can drag and drop as well this new task here and here. Okay, okay, so this is how a task has been. Let's try to add one more task, and I click on add. One more task has been added and we can drag and drop, as you can see. Okay, so the drag and drop works superbly. So this is what how we can add a task. Okay, so let's try to see how we can actually delete a task. Okay, so for that first we will try to design, because we need to have a delete button. Okay, so we will try to use something like this. So it should have a delete and it should have a edit button for this. So we will try to add those two now. Okay, so for that what we will do is we have to use the first we have to style it a bit. So let's try to see how we can style them. Okay, so this is our task name, so let's drag till here. Okay, so this is our description where it was ended, and below this description we can add a div, one more div. Okay, we'll have a div dot I can say a box. This is the class we will be creating now. Okay, and inside that we will have a button. Okay, so this button is mat icon button, so I'll say mat icon button. Okay, and we will give a color to it, color as 1, and this button will be having a function which will help to delete the task. Okay, and which task I want to delete, I can take it by using the index. So for that we'll say let I is equals to index in the ng for. Okay, in the top you can see we have ng for, so this I will take the index whichever we will select, and that I will pass here, that I. Okay, so let's copy this method and we have to create in the component as well. So below the add task you will say delete task. Okay, and this will be of type number. All right, so for deleting the task it's very simple. What we just need to just say that we have to splice. I hope if you have do know this method, we use it in JavaScript. So we have this dot task. Okay, so for the task I want to splice the item. So I'll say splice, so it deletes. So which one you want to delete? Okay, I want to delete the item, okay, which is present from that particular list to the first. So I want from that index I want to delete one item. So this is how we can use this delete. Okay, so this has been done. So let's go on the browser and let's see how it works. So again I will add some random task one. Okay, so we don't have that icon button, so for that I'll have to add it now. All right then, so let's go ahead and add those two buttons. Okay, so one button is already added and we have to add the second button, which is for edit. So for that we will be using the same, and this time we have to use a mat icon. Last time we haven't used a mat icon, so that was the problem, it was not displaying. So we will be using mat icon. Okay, sorry, it takes a class, so we don't need a class. All right, so this will be delete, and we don't need any class here, so I'll remove this. This is delete, and also we need an edit, so I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. Control save, and let's try to see how it looks. Add a task. I can see we are able to see it, but you can see both are a delete, so we'll have to see what went wrong. I think the name I haven't edited, so this will be edit, and we have to change the color to primary. Okay, now we can see whenever we add a list, so it will take that. Okay, we have these two buttons now, delete and edit. So for deleting, we'll have to see if it is working or not. If I click on here, so yeah, the item has been deleted. So let me add few more, maybe few more random tasks. Okay, let me add one more, and let me add one more. Now let me delete this 4 deleted, 1 deleted, hello deleted, and 7 deleted. So our delete is working. Okay, for to-do list. So we are just focusing one at a time. Okay, so let's try to just see it how we can style, because I use that box, so I'll style a bit. So I have used a class here, box. So let me just style this inside this particular class. Okay, so I'll go here, maybe below this I'll use the class box, and I'll say display grid, so that it should display. So I'll say display auto flow as column, sorry, column, and grid gap I want to give. So grid, okay, column gap. Why it is not visible, I'm not sure. I'll give 10 pixel. So let's save this and let's see the changes. So I'm not expecting a major change, but yeah, it looks pretty better as compared to the previous one. Okay, so this is also working fine. All right, so let's try to add the same things inside the others. So I'll copy this again. So I think this is no need to copy, we just need a delete one. So I'll copy this delete and go in the in progress. As I have told you, for in progress only delete works. Okay, so this I throws an error, so let's see how to fix. Okay, so we don't have that index, so let I is equals to index, and let's save this and check. Okay, so this actually use this method called as delete task, but we need delete in progress. So I'll copy this same and I'll paste it here, and I'll say delete in progress, in progress task. I'll copy the same method here and I will paste for this. Okay, let's save all and see the changes. I'll add apple in the task, and I can drag this to in progress. Now you can see that icon is not visible, and now I can delete also. Oops, the delete is not working. Oh, okay, because we haven't called the method. So let's try to call the method also. Delete in progress. So this actually deletes in progress item. All right, so this is because we are trying to remove from task. Now we have to remove it from in progress. So this is the in progress list, and from that list I want to remove one item. So now it will work. Okay, let me create same method for done as well, because in future we need it. Delete done task. Okay, let's save this. So now we have, if you see, we have three methods now. Okay, for adding a task and also for deleting the three. Okay, so now I think we need one more, which is our for updating. For updating, I think I haven't done anything. Okay, so I'll try to do for update. So what we can do is, okay, so whenever I'm clicking on this edit button, so let me first demonstrate that what we need, and then maybe later on we can try to see how we can do it. So whenever we click on this edit button, okay, whenever you click on this edit button, I want to display that on this particular thing. So for that, what I will do is I will create a method called as onEdit. Okay. So whenever I click on edit, so at that time I want to, so I will be taking two things from the user. So first I'll take the item of type iTask. Okay, and the second thing I want is the index number. Okay, and I will also take, well, create a property called as update ID. So which one I have to update. So for that I have taken this update ID, and also I will create a property called as is edit enabled. Like whenever we click on edit button, okay, so it will be what we say true, and if it is not clicked then it will be false. So this will be of type boolean, and initial this value will be false. Okay, so I have added these two property now, and this two property will be helping me for achieving my task for on edit and updating the item. All right, so whenever I click on this on edit, so let's use this method also on the UI. So let's see where we have our edit. So yeah, this is our edit. So let me remove this one with replace with this on edit, and this requires two parameters. The first thing we already have the index, and the one thing we need item. So I have passed item and index for this on edit. So let's save it, and let's try to write the logic for the on edit. Okay, so whenever I click on this, so what I'll do, I'll try to update. So I'll say this dot task. Okay, so whatever ID which I will get, so for that, okay, sorry, first we have to update the form, right? Whenever I click on edit, I want to set the value of the form. Okay, so for that I'll say this dot to do form dot, okay, the controls, and the control name is item. I want to set the value, so I'll say set value. Value will be item dot description. So I want to set the value of the description whenever user clicks on edit button. Okay, so next step I'll do this dot updated ID is equals to I. So which ID you want to update from the array, so that I'm taking this, not to be very specific ID, but I would say index. Okay, so which index you want to update from the array, so this is what it is. All right, and the third thing will be like we clicked on edit button, right, which means our is edit is enabled, correct? So we'll make this is edit enable as true. All right, now let's save this. Okay, I'll go very slow. All right, so now this is done. So now let me try to add few fields. Okay, so first of all, what I can say is on edit should be called. Yeah, it is called, and we have to set the value. Okay, things cool. Let's try to demonstrate it, whatever we have done. So I'll add a task, add task one, and added. Okay, now let me remove this for now. Okay, let's see if I click on this edit, so I have to stick this value here. Wow, it is sticking, which means this works. All right, now what we will do, now we will update this name, but we can't see a update button, correct? This should be update button. Like we don't need to add. Like if I click on this, so one more is added. I don't want to add, I want to update this name to some different name, correct? See, it is getting added every time. So for that, what I have to do is, so I'll go here. Okay, so I'll create one more button. So this is for this one, this is for add button, so I'll create one more button called as update. Okay, so it calls, so this is add and this is update. All right, okay, so this will call update task. So I know the method is not created, so it will throw error. Okay, and I will have a condition ng if. like when I want to show add button and when I want to show update button. So is enabled. So let me copy this better. I can copy the name. So this was the reason I have added this method is enabled. So you can see on the start of the application it is false, which means if it is false, then I want to display the add button. Correct? I want to display the add button. Okay, but whenever I click on update, okay, whenever I click on that edit button, so what I'll do, okay, let me just say ng if, and I'll say is enabled. So whenever my update is enabled, so it will display my update button. Okay, and this is throwing error because this method is not created. So I will copy this method and I will create it on the component below this, maybe. Yeah. So for updating, what I'll have to do is I'll say this dot task. Okay, and I have that ID, right? So I'll have this ID, this dot update ID, which index I want to update. So better I can change the name to update index. The ID looks very bad. I think it's not the good name in convention. So I'll say update index. Copy this and change this also and this also. So it will update the index of this array. Okay. First thing I want to update is description. So I'll say description. So this should be updated by the latest whatever the user adds to do form dot value dot item. Okay. Also I want to update the boolean, which is this dot, again we can copy and paste better to save some time. Copy and we will paste here and change this description to done, and it will be false because it is in to do section, it is in to do list. Okay, and once this is updated I want to reset the form. I'll say this dot to do form dot reset. Okay, once the form is reset I want to again change the updated index to undefined, and this dot is enabled, edit enabled to false. That edit has been done, so you can make it false now. Save this all. Okay, and let's try to reset the form whenever we add. Okay, so whenever we successfully add, so after that we can reset the form. So we can say this dot to do form dot reset. Okay, let's save this and let's go on the browser to demonstrate it. So let's try to add to task 1. Once we add, we can see form is reset and task is added. Let me add one more task 2. Again click on add, task is added. One more task 3, click on added. So we have 3 tasks now, and I want to update task number 3. As you can see, once I click here I can see an update button now, and if I change this name to task 3 updated, and if I click on update now, you can see it is not adding one more, it is actually updating that particular index value. Okay, on that index it is updating that value. So this is how our update is also working. Okay, and now let's try to drag and drop. Okay, so this works. You can see that edit button is gone and we can complete the task by putting it in the done section. Okay, so you can see it is going in the done, but we need 2 things here as well, delete and that check mark. So let's try to add those 2 now. Okay, so for that let's again open up our code. Maybe first we will try to modify the HTML. Okay, so for that it is quite simple, like it's just a copy and paste in my context actually. So what we'll do is we'll copy this one, maybe on the top, yeah, this box. Just copy this and we have to paste here after this description. So you can see after this we can paste it, this thing here. Okay, so now it should have a delete. So that's correct, it should have a delete task. So we created delete done task, if you remember. Okay, now we don't need this one. Okay, and we don't need this delete icon as well. Actually we need a check circle. So for that we'll say check circle. Okay, and this I is showing here because we don't have the index. So I'll say let I equals to index. Now this will be removed. Now if I save this, Okay, and now let's go on the browser and check. Give the task name as added. Let's take it in drop that removed. Go in the okay. Can you see this check works that this task is completed? Okay, we can, if you want, we can change the color also. So for that we can just edit this and change by your own. So we'll do this thing in the last. All right, so now we can see that all the functionality actually works. Okay, that edit functionality, update, and everything is working. So let's try to demonstrate again for by adding 2 3 tasks. Task 1, task 3, task 6. So we have few tasks. We can drag it. I can change the position as well. I can again take it to the in progress, and I can mark it as done, which means our to-do list application is working. But we need to style a bit. Like if you see this one, so it has good looking background, and also this one, this header part. Okay, so for that header part we will try to change a bit, because you can see we need to have this index also, like how many tasks is in to-do list, in progress, and done. All right, so we will try to add that also. So let's go here. So this is mostly the styling part. Now let's try to focus there. So let me just open this. All right, so here in the to-do list, so we will be creating a span tag. Okay, so span tag will be basically helping us that if it is visible or not, when it should be visible, if we have item more than one. Okay, so after this to-do list we will create a span tag. So sorry, so I'll need to space, yep, span. So inside the span tag we have to display the length. So we have task. Okay, so this throws an error, not sure why. So okay, task dot length. Okay, so we have this task already, this one dot length. We are checking the length, but when we have to display this, so there is a condition. So we will have a ng if condition. Ng if our task dot length is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then only we have to display this. Okay, so I'll space and I'll add this so that it should look better. Okay, so now I can copy the same. So this we have done for to do, so we have to same do for in progress. Okay, so for this we have to replace this by in progress. If the in progress dot length is greater than 0, then show the length. Again we have to copy this span tag and do for the done one. So where is the done? Yeah, this is the one. So let's paste here and change it with done dot length and dot length. Okay, if I save this, okay, let's go on the browser to test. If I add a task, I can see it like to do minus one, like one task is added. If I drag it here in the in progress, I can see it is added. For done also it is added. Okay, so which means that item works. So now we just have to style this a bit. So for the styling we will be just going here, and let's create a class for the h2 tag. Okay, so we'll create a class as head title and copy this class for all 3 columns. So for done is done, sorry, it actually looks the same thing. So yeah, in progress I'll paste the same class. It should be head, not head. Okay, and for to do also we will be adding the same. Okay, let's save this and let's go in the SCSS. So we were having a class head title. I'm not sure the name is correct, so I'll confirm it. Yeah, it's head title. Okay, and we will try to change the CSS a bit. Okay, so for that what we will do is we will need a margin and padding as 0 first of all, so that there should be no gap between them. So the margin is 0. Okay, and padding is also 0. All right, I will give it a background. Let's give it a background color as RGB. I have a color code with me, so it's RGB, and let's give a color code as 228, 222, which is the light gray. and we'll give border radius. Okay, this is because we haven't added this, so that's why. Border radius as 4 pixel. We'll give a color to the list as ash. Maybe we have to give gray color, so for that I'll use this code. Again, it all depends on your like how good you are in CSS. You can customize it. All right, so I'll give a font size as 1.5 rem, and I'll give font width as well. Font width as 600, and inside that we have a span. Oh, so for the span I want to style it like font width I want to keep it as normal, so the font width will be normal. Okay, let's save this and see, let's see the magic how it looks. I'm hoping it to be look good. Okay, so for these two it is working, but not sure why it is not for to do, so we'll see. Okay, this should be head, and now it should look exactly the same. Okay, so now we just need to give a margin tops to this particular class, because we can see we have already added margin top. Okay, so we will need this as well. So we need mt3, so that it should match, like we have mt3 here and mt3 here for the mat card. Now it should come in the line. Yep, so this is what how it looks like now. So now let's try to add the styling for the background. Okay, so for that I will be using the global styling, like because it should be visible throughout. So let's try to add the styling globally. So for that we have style.scss, the global styling file. We already have all this pre-built because of the Angular material. So yeah, we will try to add few background color, okay, for the body. So for the body, let me it is already there, but I'll use this one. Okay, why it is not showing? Okay, yeah, for the body I will add height. Let me give a height to the body as 100%. Okay, and I'll give a background. Okay, this is the linear gradient. In this we will be using some like to left hand side. So I have a color code which is FF9494. Okay, you can see this pinkish color, and also for the second one we have 9870. Okay, F5. So it all depends. Again, I'm telling it is not like you should follow the same CSS, but yeah, it all depends on the way you do. And if you go here to see the changes, it will not like it will reflect the way it was. I'm so sorry, it will reflect that. And now what we have to do is now we have to center all these things. So for that you can just use text center or maybe some bootstrap classes there to make things center. Okay, so it all depends on your CSS now, but you can see most of the part is done. That we can add any item and we can drag and drop and we can make use of it. All right, now let me just try to add few paddings. Maybe I think padding is required. 0 doesn't looks good, so we'll add some padding here. Let's go in the to do. Yep, in the SCSS I will add a padding of 10, maybe 10 pixel. Not sure how it looks, but yeah, let's give it a try. Yeah, looks much better. So now we can see this looks very good. Now we can add a task. Let's add a task and we can drag and drop to play with it. Okay, so now if you want to change this color also, so that also you can do. Let me just try to see how we can inspect this, and we will try to change the color as well of that particular icon. Okay, so this is the matte icon, so we have to see what is the checkbox for that. All right, so for that again I'll go to the global styling, because I have to change the color to green. So we have something for it already which takes that accent color. Okay, so you can just make use of this, or you can pause the video and you can just copy these things for your like how we can add this matte accent button into it. And let's save and check the result, because we have to make it green color, right? So again let's add a task, to check if it isn't done, how it looks. Okay, it's still not taking up that color, so we'll see how to fix that. Okay. All right, so this is matte accent button, maybe. Okay, so let's see in the HTML. All right. Okay, so maybe because of this font I think I have added, so let me just try to debug that. So this is check circle. Okay, and this should be taking a color. So I haven't provided the color. This is the problem actually. If you see here, I should have set it to accent, because we have added this CSS for this class in the global styling. Can you see this? Matte accent, matte accent. So if I save it, and now if I go ahead and check again the task, and if I drag and drop again, now it should be in green color. Okay, so yeah, so this was it, I guess. So if you want, I can just again brief it, like what all those steps we have to follow to create this application. All right, so the first thing what I did, I created this application and I have added two things. First thing was Bootstrap. For adding the Bootstrap, we have added here the link, so you can also add it. So this one I'm talking about. And second thing, you have to install Angular material. So once that is installed, the second thing was I added these two component, navbar and todo. Okay, so once that is added, I configured the routing for displaying the todo component, which is this one. Okay, in the component you can see we have two things, app navbar and the router outlet. So it displays the navbar on the top, and the router outlet will be helping us to route to the to-do list item. Okay, so this was a brief about what things we have did, and you can see in the like if you have any issue like creating this application, as it was very step by step, but if you still face any error, any issue, like while using any of this step, you can just contact me anytime. So I have my Telegram link in the description. You can just go ahead and ping me. I will be definitely gonna help you guys, so you don't worry if you face any error. Okay, so by solving the error, this is how we learn. Okay, so don't worry if you face any. All right, so this was it I think about this video. If you find this video helpful, you can give a thumbs up to this, and you can subscribe to my channel to get more like updated to some more such videos, which will be surely coming in future, because I'm planning an Angular blog application which will be dropped very soon. I'm just still going to finish that application in just upcoming weeks. Okay, so once that is done, so the next thing will be the Angular blog application. All right, so till that time, bye bye guys, and keep learning.